Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of the flight crew, thank you for flying with us and have a pleasant day.
Okay, guys, I recognize the fact that I have, I don't know, should be around 1,000 videos at this point posted. And not all of you have seen my older videos, especially when I lived there. So for even those who didn't know, I lived in Medellin for a period of time, and I did videos. That's actually when I first started vlogging. It's been over 5 years ago, Memorial Day. This is a video that I did on living in Medellin after 5 weeks. So what I thought about living there at that point, and I go over a whole bunch of details. So for those who are thinking about moving there, for those who are thinking about visiting for a long period of time, this should be insightful. So let's just jump right in and check this video out. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you're located. Is it raining? Is it cold? Is it hot? Now, we get our rain here, so don't let me talk about rain. But the rain we get comes and goes in about, 10. I think the last one's been 20, 30 minutes. It rained pretty hard, but then it's gone. You can see the clouds in the distance. It's getting ready to finish. But I wanted to take a moment to go over a few things that I like about being here in Medellin, as well as some things that you may want to know just when you're coming here. So basic things you need to know, well, things I would recommend that you know before you come here, or just some interesting things about living here. It really doesn't matter, but it's interesting. So first, let me go over the things that I like. I've got a list. There's a list, not so much that, but things you need to know. But number one thing I like, I'm sure if anybody who's seen any of my videos, the number one thing I like about being here is the climate, the weather. It's amazing. I believe it's averages somewhere between 70 and 78 every day. Every day since I've been here, I'm told it's all year round. Sometimes it gets a bit windy, I'm told, later in August. But as far as cold or extreme hot, it doesn't happen here. So number one thing I like about here is the weather. Of course, the second thing is the strength of the dollar. And just a quick FYI, that only carries over to really things where you need physical labor done. Somebody to wash your car is going to be cheap. I'm told, I think the average that they make here per month is the equivalent of 400 of our dollars, US dollars. So that's why labor is pretty cheap. But other than that, I'd have to say rent is number one. So that's your biggest fee or bill that you're going to pay in the U.S. is going to be your rent. So you're going to get it here a whole heck of a lot cheaper. I mean, I got this for 7 weeks, and I negotiated from $1,300 and something down to $964, something like that. But I just wanted to get it under $1,000. That was my goal. So because back there, my rent for 2 months would be $1,000 without the additional fees. That's another thing. I have everything I need here. Electricity's already turned on. Cable, I had to work on the cable because I had to go ahead and get some sort of Wi-Fi TV, TV service. But rent, next behind rent is going to be the cost of driving a car, whether it's the payment or the gas that you're continuing to put into it. In Houston, you're going to constantly hop on the Beltway at some point. Sometimes just sitting on the Beltway, which is an outer loop around Houston, and you pay for it. It may cost me, I think it's $5, $5.50, or it was $5.50 to go from one side of Houston to the other side. So that adds up, and they'll take $40 out of your account right away. You have to have it on a card, and then ching, all of a sudden $40 comes out when you don't pay any attention to it. And I think I'm well over $120 in a month. So add that to the cost of gas at almost, $35 right now to fill it, let's say 4 times a month. Let's say inspection, let's say insurance, let's say anything goes wrong with the car. My warranty's expired, so I don't have to drive here. I didn't want to drive there, and that's the next thing I love about here. I don't have to drive. I mean, it's a pretty big city. I can get anywhere I want, and in an Uber that's going to cost me an average between $2 and $5. The average is about $2, $2. I got hit the other night during the game. They took advantage of me then. I was complaining about paying, what, $7? I'm paying $7? And we joked about it, but that's not the norm. So your rent, your car, and then I don't have to drive. Yeah, I pay for, I wanted to show you the Civica card also. The Civica card is what you can purchase at the train station. You can put monies on it, and you can recharge it. Recargar is another word you need to learn too. I want to go over some of the words you should learn, and that definitely should be on the list. So not only do I not have to drive, but I get taken where I want, and it's relatively inexpensive. If I'm on the metro, I think it's the equivalent of 90 cents, and I can go clear across town. Clear across town. It doesn't, charge you 90 cents for the first train, or you have to transfer. No. As long as you're in the system, and that includes the cable cars too, you don't pay an additional fee. Another good thing about being here, or that I like about here, is Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is prevalent. It's almost everywhere. In the U.S., I know we don't have Wi-Fi in the parks, and you can go to any park in this town and you have Wi-Fi. If you're at the mall, there's services where you can use the mall, and each store really has their own individual Wi-Fi too. You just need to ask them what the password is. Some there are no passwords. Some they just ask you to put your email and phone number in, which make up a phone number and put an email address that you don't use. They don't even authenticate it, so just put in anything really, or somebody else's email. Let's see. Next thing I like about being here is there is no rush. They work on a different time. You've heard of CP time back home. Well, this is really CP time, and it is. They take their time for everything. So don't expect people to move fast, whether it's at the airport or at a restaurant. Don't expect people to act fast. And that's another thing in a restaurant. They expect you to go ask for the check. They don't just bring it. You'll sit there for a couple of hours and nobody will bring the check. So you have to ask for it or go up front and you pay. So Wi-Fi is everywhere. And that's a big plus too, because service is going to be challenging here. I know it's expensive for me. I've had a couple of different plans, and now I'm back to paying $10 a day. Well, $10 a day adds up. So I do have cell service here on another phone, but when it comes to work and business, I can't play with it, so I just had to go ahead and pay, bite the bullet and pay on that. But I did have a service before. It was for the month. It was $127 or something like that for the month. So realistically, for me, for business, I can't complain about that. Just I'm here less than a month now, so I didn't want to pay that for the whole month. When $10 a day supposedly gives you the exact same service that you have in the U.S. So I've gone over. I don't have to drive. That's a big plus for me. That's where I practice my Spanish too. Is with the Uber drivers, because we're going to be in the car for 20 minutes together. I'm not going to sit there in silence. Somebody needs to speak, and that's where I get the practice, and sometimes they get the practice too. Let's see. Here's a big one for me. What I like, Rappi. I would advise you to turn Rappi on as soon as you get here. R-A-P-P-I. It's an app. It's like Uber Eats, only they'll bring you anything. They'll bring you food, they'll bring you a prescription, they'll bring you beer, they'll bring you liquor, they'll bring you money. That's right. I was talking about this at Sweet Georgia Cafe the other day. They will bring you money. So it's basically they're taking money off your card. Kind of like if you were in a restaurant, you give them your card and say, hey, can I get cash back off of this? Or when you go to Walmart, you say, I want an extra $80. Well, this is still in the app, and whether it's a restaurant or a bank or wherever they're getting whatever you're requesting, you'll see a driver on the map, and they're all on bikes. Most of them are on bikes or scooters and motorcycles, and they carry a big pack on their back with the food or your money or your prescription, and you can see them driving down the road until they ding dong, there's your door. It's an outstanding app. Whoever developed that, kudos. That's like the Uber of the delivery world. I wish I'd have came up with that idea. I've gone over the weather. New friends. I hang out at a spot called Sweet Georgia Cafe from time to time. Really great guys. I would consider a bunch of them really good friends, my new friends. They've been like my therapists at times, especially when I first came down here. Most men don't talk to anybody. We just deal with whatever issue internally, but I was able to talk, and so they reassured me that I wasn't crazy. We get a lot of people back home saying a lot of things, You know, a lot of times, anytime you want to do something different, somebody's going to criticize you. At least that's my experience in the U.S. Somebody's going to tell you, "Oh, you're going to do what? Really? Well, what about that? What about this? Oh, it's going to be, it's dangerous. It's, you know, it's all these myths that they come up with and never been here. So all the stuff they get from TV, it's one of those people, you know, some of those people that believe what they see on TV. Anyway, new friends. Put that on my list. That's a big one for me here. Sweet Georgia Cafe, I mentioned that's where I met most of these guys. I meet almost somebody new every time I go. The good thing is, you know, you get comfort food from back home and you get good breakfast, and the owner always has something going on. Tonight is live music. It's the 4th of July, so he's going to celebrate for us. The food is good, the service is good, the cost is low, good friends, resources. If you're looking for resources here for Medellin, resources. If you want to know how long it takes, you know, how long before you have to renew to get your visa, resources. Sweet Georgia Cafe, I cannot emphasize. If there's a place you're going to go to, in which I was there my second day, actually the first day, I was supposed to work on that Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day, and I was there at 8:03. And they were looking at me like, what you doing here? I'm like, I got to work. I timed this just right. 8 o'clock, I need to start work. And he's like, well, I'm sorry, we don't have food. Anyway, I talked to him for a bit. His name is Rob, the owner of Sweet Georgia Cafe. Exceptional concept, idea. He's growing the business also. He's going to make upstairs is actually going to be an Airbnb. So he's getting all that set up now. He's actually getting set up for Rappi too. But I'll be over there in a little bit. I'll be heading over shortly. But I just want to knock this out real quick. And I'm also doing interviews too of a bunch of guys that are there, and girls if I can get them. Those who took a chance and moved down here, why they moved down here and so on, just to give you a better idea as to why some of us come here. And why here? Why not Costa Rica? Why not Honduras? There's a lot of reasons. And I've already done one interview and it was pretty good. I've gone over the strength of the dollar. I love where I live. I'm about 4 blocks to the train. If you see my video walking to the metro, which is trains, buses, it's all there. Buses are everywhere. Although I haven't taken a local bus yet. I need to do that. But everything is in walking distance. Now, if you cross the main street back here, and I look off up against the mountain where my gym is, yeah, if you live over there, you're going to be humping that hill up and back, or you're always going to have to call an Uber. But down here, I can walk. And most of the city is, too. We're in a valley, surrounded by mountains, but you know, Poblado, the nicer area, is on the mountains. Nice area, but you're going to be climbing and humping some hills. So I would recommend you get an area that's flat, Laureles, Belén. There's a bunch of places on the other side of town, but I'm right on the border too, near Santa Fe Mall and Aguacatala Metro train station, and it's flat here. I love it. That being flat encourages you to get out and walk. That and the weather encourages you to get out, walk, stay fit. That and the fact that they close the streets on Sundays and holidays too in the morning. I think it's 7 to 1 p.m. They close half the street, Poblado Avenue, and you can walk and bike and scoot and whatever you're doing. So, you know, I think the weather and the fact that, and if you're not on hills, and there's some people that walk the hills too, but I think that's why they stay more fit here, because the food really is not that calorie low. I mean, the calories aren't low. You know, almost everything I've seen is fried or in some kind of sauce. By the way, that's one thing they need, salt. So if you're coming, bring some salt. Bring some Old Bay, bring some Slap Your Mama, bring some Tony Chachere's, bring some seasoning, some salt, because most of what's down here, it doesn't matter, even if you get chicken, you have to add your salt to it. Metro. I love the use of the Metro too. I just put another 50 on it, so I'm straight. I can hop on it whenever I want and not have to worry about it running out. There's 2 different types of cards though. There's a gray one where you pay for just one ride across town. You put it in the slot and it goes away. Or the rechargeable one, you just slide up, you know, kind of like a hotel door. You move it around and it operates. And that same Civica card is good for the buses too. I asked one of the drivers also in my broken Spanish. So those are the things that I like. Friends, Wi-Fi, Rappi, weather, strength of the dollar. Where I live is flat. There's a guard, all the guards downstairs, really great guys too. So I communicate with them my entire trip, because every time I'm coming and going, I have to. Okay, here's some things that I noticed and some things that you may want to know about Medellin before coming here. Okay, first one, they still have payphones. Every once in a while you run into a payphone. I saw it at the mall. So I don't know if it's because their plans are, their phone plans are such that the what do you call it, the gigabytes, that part of it is low. You may only get a half a gig, and that's why I guess everybody uses Wi-Fi over here. But keep that in mind. There are payphones. I have noticed that there are recycling trash cans everywhere. There'll be 2 or there'll be 3. I think I took a picture of it. I can't tell which the heck is which. One says like normal trash, one says recyclable. Well, what's recyclable? I mean, I just separated the food and everything else. So everything else is going to the other one. So I'm sure I've been wrong. I think I said this in a few other of my videos also. There's no dryer there, clothes dryer, in most apartments. I'm sure you can get it somewhere, but there's no need, because you hang it and you just hang your stuff all around in 2 or 3 hours it's dry, because it's not that humid here. There's mostly no ACs. I don't have an AC. My windows are always open. I closed it now just so I can do this video, but because you'll hear the streets. Yeah, there's no dryers, no ACs, and for the most part, no oven. I don't even have a toaster oven. That, if I was going to be here for long term, that'd be the first thing I get, a toaster oven. Not an AC, not a dryer. And it's just me, so, I have a washing machine, and you just put it in there, and it, when it goes through the little cycle at the end, the centrifugal part, it takes most of the water out, and I just hang it around on a desk and wherever on a little rack over the sink, and stuff is dry. So no dryers, no ACs, no ovens. Oh, here's another thing, and I had to do this for the first time today. Every once in a while, you may have to pay for the bathroom. The bathroom is the baño. I needed to go, and I was under the bridge, which is called Glorieta, I learned. So I have a few new words. The circle that the cars drive around, but there's a little underneath it. If you see my old video, one of my old videos, you walk underneath it. And it was 900, what was it, 900 pesos? Not even a meal. Remember, there's 3 meals to $1. So this is like 30 cents that you're paying, or 25 cents. But still, you're paying to use the bathroom. So just be aware. At least it's there. Most of the malls are indoors, outdoors. At least the malls I've been to, I haven't seen one that's closed up with an AC on it. Matter of fact, the one up the road, Santa Fe Mall, has a drop top. They can actually open the top like you're at, NRG in Houston. You can open that. And I guess, I don't know if they do that by temperature or how the day is, but I'm sure they don't leave it open in the rain. But let's see what else. Oh, there are homeless. You're going to find homeless too. And there's, I don't know how many extra million people here from Venezuela right now, most of which I'm told are in Bogota, but a lot are here too. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. But you'll find that most people that are on the street are selling, they have a little bag, it's like a little plastic bag with now laters or some type of chewy candy and Starburst type thing. And they just, I don't even know how much it costs. Every once in a while I'll buy one, or a chiclet, one little chiclet, or 2 chiclets, 2 little tea box. But hey, they're out there, they're working. So it's more than I can say for some people in the US. So let's see, no fast food. There is no fast food. There's no fast food here. Okay, there is no fast food. You go to the mall, I don't care if you go to McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. Well, I think it's only McDonald's here, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Papa John's, Pizza Hut. There's a couple others. I did say McDonald's, Carl's Jr., I think. But even if you get it from the mall, so if you only have an hour's worth of lunch, when you go to the mall and you order whatever, it's not like the Chinese food where they just sit it up front and shove it on your plate. You're going to wait till they prepare that food. So you're going to be waiting 15 to 20 minutes. That could be at lunchtime, and that's any time. Just remember, no fast food here. So be patient. I mean, you're in another country. You don't bring, I've been taught this in the past, don't bring my U.S. attitude to another country. Because, back home, I'd be like, man, how long we got to wait? Hey, can somebody, I'm in the customs aisle, and there's 2 people, and there's like 200 of us. And I'm like, if I was in the U.S., I'd be, hey, anybody back there, can you bring somebody else out here? Leave that attitude back home. When you come here, you just I mean, it is what it is. Take the pluses that you get and just be more patient, because there is no rush here. There is no rush here, except, if you've seen my other videos, the only rush is if you're driving. Well, I don't drive, but the people who are driving, the cars, the bikes, the bicycles and the motorcycles and the cars and the buses and all this stuff has to work together. But one thing I have noticed is, if you are the first person to the intersection, then that's your right of way. Problem is, if you're a person and you have to step in front of a car, but I have all faith if you step in front of a car, they're going to stop in time. I haven't seen anybody get hit yet. Just remember, if the bike gets there first, the bike has the right of way. If the car gets there first, and I mean, it's close. So don't come here being passive, because you'll never cross the street. If you're passive and think, should I go? No. You'll be there now. You'll be there your first day when you land. And you won't even check in. You'll still be there waiting, because you won't cross that street, no matter what time of day. Okay. And I went over the cars in the right of way. Yeah, and they're in a rush. Sometimes I see motorcycles zipping through trees. It's like, dude, really? How much of a rush? How late are you where you have to fly 40 miles an hour down the white line? You know how many blind spots? Yeah, if you're from America, don't come here driving. Don't come here driving. If you're going to do that, stay here for a couple of years and work your way into it after a few months. Don't hop in here or get a car or get a rental at 5 o'clock in the morning and stop driving at 8, because that's a wrap. It's straight. I would never drive here. I would never drive here. Except a motorcycle on the weekend, early Sunday morning. Put that out there. The dress codes. Don't come here with your slick, your vest, your finest. There's going to be no need. Most of the clothes, and I didn't bring a lot of it. I brought warm-up pants and shirts and sweatpants. Warm-up pants, and that's basically all I wear. I wear a few shirts when I went to dance class and things like that, but other than that, no. You're going to wear a collarless shirt like this, or maybe a fancy beans that's got a collar on it. Some dress pants and some basic shoes. My shoes are, Clark's, middle of the road anyway, but my black ones are overkill here. Anyway, so it's a casual dress code, and I'm also told, and you've seen this in a bunch of other videos, don't walk around here with shorts on and flip-flops. Don't do that. And Lord help you if you got flip-flops and socks on. I'm going to tell you about that, bro. But anyway, cologne. It is recommended that you wear cologne when you're out. For some reason, that's the thing, especially if you're dancing. If you read the little literature for dancing, it says make sure you brush your teeth, you use mouthwash, no body odor, and they recommend cologne for men and perfume for women. So don't, because you're going to be up on somebody, so I guess that's why they recommend it. Pharmacies. Pharmacies are everywhere. They're more prevalent than convenience stores back in the U.S. At least a pharmacy once every 2 blocks. That's a lot. That's a lot. But it's like a little mini hospital. Anything you need, you go in there and tell them what you have. My arm hurt. They'll give you a pill for your right arm hurt. I went in and had to get a prescription for my simvastatin for cholesterol. They didn't have the 10 milligrams. They had the 20s, but you can cut them in half. So I'm straight. But they're everywhere. And the prices are cheap. Remember, you're not using insurance in combination. You're just paying straight whatever the amount is, $4, $3. Very inexpensive, and they are everywhere. I think there's more pharmacies than there are any other store or business. I'd recommend always also having cash on hand. Always have cash on hand. For instance, I went out last night to this jazz. It was supposed to be live jazz. I went down there. It was, small kind of place. I just listened to the end of that set, and then I dipped out. But one of the reasons I dipped out, I only had I think 60 mil on me, which is like $20. So things are cheaper here, yeah, but I like having more money on me in my pouch, not just 60. Because if I need something, that's a wrap. Or what happens if my phone dies and I need to find my way home and the Uber app doesn't work? So, I wish my phone don't die. But so they told me to walk down the street to a bank, and I went to one bank, asked somebody, they laughed at me with my Spanish. Went to the other one, that was closed too, so no banks were open. No ATMs were down there, and we were in El Centro. You don't wander around El Centro at night by yourself. Matter of fact, I told the Uber driver, if things don't look right when you get me down there, we're going to keep on scooting, just so you know. As soon as we pulled up, I heard the music, and everybody was already there. So most of the people there were from Sweet Georgia Cafe again. There's a lot of groups to get together. And that's another thing. I'm not there. Am I on there on my list yet? No. But here's one thing I'd recommend. Always go in a group. If you're going to go out to a club or something like that, go with somebody else. I went out the other night with Carlton from Carlton Travels Adventures. That was a night I had too much to drink. But always go with somebody because you never know where you are, especially if you don't know where you're going. I told you the only time I felt unsafe, and mind you, I've heard gunshots twice here. The only time I felt unsafe was when I was by myself, not with a tour group at Comuna 13. That was the only time. I really should not have gone by myself. Anyway, some places just keep that in mind. Anywhere around El Centro, you hear El Centro. Oh, and don't get an Airbnb near El Centro. Don't do that. Don't get a hotel near El Centro. You don't want to be anywhere near there. I'm just telling you. You read the reviews on Airbnb, but I'm going to tell you that I've been there and all around the parks, and yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. And coming back at night too, no, you never know who's going to be out front of your door. But so I did go over there. Everybody have cash. Have cash. Not everybody takes credit cards. And that bar, restaurant, jazz spot did not take cards. So don't just expect that. Most of them all, yeah. But they encourage you to use cash too because, they get the same fees we get in the U.S. Dance lessons. I recommend you take dance lessons. I forgot about my lessons when I just got back. So I already called the teacher I had before, and we set up an appointment. Well, she'll let me know sometime on Monday. But I recommend going to Dance Free. Dance Free is in the Poblado area. It's off of Calle Diez, which is 10. There's two. There's one that goes north, and then a block over it goes south. On the southbound side, excuse me, you'll see Dance Free. They call it Dance Free because you can go in there and dance for free. There's all day long. There's private classes. You don't have a private room, by the way. You're in a big room, and there may be 4 or 5 classes, 4 or 5 couples at the same time. But then they have free group. I think it's 8 to 9 or 7:30 to 9. Don't quote me on that. Check that. Dance Free though. And then after that, on Friday and Saturdays, it turns into a club. I mean, full-fledged band and all. So they rock up in there and you get to practice what you just learned. And the prices are reasonable too. Private ones, well, they'll come to you at cheaper though, just so you know. So if anybody needs a recommendation, I got a recommendation, so I have it. Food. If you've seen a couple of the meals that I've eaten, I told you I'm not a big plus on the food here. That's not a positive for me. Like I told you, us American folks, we like salt. And even if you think you don't like salt, when you come here, you'll notice it's missing, okay? I'm telling you, bring some Old Bay, bring some Tony Chachery, some Slap Your Mama, some kind of sauce, some jerk seasoning. You're going to need something. There are dry seasonings here, but I don't know enough about seasonings, so that's why when you don't know about seasonings and herbs and spices, you use salt. But it's noticeable. It is totally noticeable that it's missing. Okay. Let's see. I've already said sign up for Rappi. Sign up for Rappi when you first get here. That's the delivery app. Also live near a metro. Big plus for you. Again, the weather's good. Walk a few blocks and you're straight. Dental work. I'm going to interview my dentist if I can. I'm going to try to see if he has some time this week. But I want to go over some of the basic prices and why people come down here for medical work and for dental work. And if you remember, I had 4 teeth, 2 cracks, 2 small pinholes filled, a deep cleaning, all for like $140. And then I just had my bottom teeth straightened out too. So hey, I'm rocking. I'm blessed. And he did a good job too. I was struggling last week because I couldn't get it finished because I went out drinking. That's a whole nother story. But dental prices are cheap because it's labor, but I'm sure he's doing pretty well because he's got a good business with all of us expats coming down. I went over the Civica card, traveling in groups. Oh, holidays. Holidays, I think I was told there's 17 holidays, official holidays, and no matter what the holiday is, it's observed on the following Monday. So you'll notice Monday there's no cars on the road and everything's closed down. They're mostly religious too, Christian and Catholic. But that's also another day where they let you walk in the street because it's like a Sunday. And that means the bar and nightclubs get a Friday and 2 Saturdays out of it. So it works out for them, but other businesses that are closed on Monday lose money. But there's a heck of a lot of holidays, so that's like almost 1 to 1.5 a month. Uber versus taxi. If you saw the one video I did video out of a taxi just because my Uber didn't come that night because they kept dropping. 5 o'clock they go crazy. It's hard to get one sometimes, or for me anyway. But I was told, I've heard so many horror stories about taxis. I won't ride in a taxi. I'm just not gonna. Why? I have Uber. I don't have to come out my pocket with cash. So how am I going to get ripped off? You know, and you can dispute anything that's crazy anyway. Here's one. There's juice everywhere. If you like juice, there's juice everywhere. Just like there's pharmacies, there's probably 20 people in between the pharmacies selling you juice and fruit. So it's prevalent down here. Well, unfortunately, fruit is sugar, so I can't just have a whole lot of fruit. There's one place I have that has some good, they blend up the fruit. But most of the fruits, I don't know what they are, so I'm not that adventurous. Give me whatever that is, just point to whatever. Okay, ATMs. There's a word to learn. Cajera automática. That is ATM. I know, some of that words so long. Parking is estacionamiento. That's too much. And that's why that language is so hard for me, because where a 2-syllable word we'd have, there's like a 5 or 6-syllable word for theirs. And it's very nuanced. So, but cajera automática. The best ones I'd recommend going to, for obvious reasons, are at the mall, because there's security all through the mall, and nobody's going to snatch you up or pickpocket you. Well, you can get pickpocketed anywhere, but the safest place would be there as opposed to outside of Poblado or El Centro. You know, I knew I shouldn't have been doing it last night, but I just look around and I needed the money, so unless they got a gun, they're going to need more than one and strong on me, that's all. But I learned that one, cajera automática. That was one of the first, probably the best phrase that I've learned since I've been here. And then a few other words I want to go over. Well, one last thing. Walking, exercise, and the weather, I think it's all joined together. The reason that people get out and walk is because the weather is good. The reason people are so fit is because the weather is good and they get out and walk or ride or bike. So it's not because of the food, because the food is mostly fried. It may be saltless, but it's full of fat. I mean, that chicharron, it's like pure fat. It's like 5 pieces of bacon slapped together with the fat peeled off on one. I can't eat fat. I can't bite into fat. Anyway, it works for some people. So yeah, just a few words that I'd suggest you learn. First of all, if you speak Spanish, you're good. If you don't, it's going to be a challenge. It is a challenge. I speak enough. I speak bastante, which is enough, to get my point across. Because I learned all my adjectives and adverbs way back before. You know, arriba, abajo, izquierda, derecha, caliente, frío, mojado. You know, I learned all the extremes and then, you know, how, who, where, what, and when. So there's a few words that I'd suggest that you learn, though. Of course, the basic buenos noches, buenos tardes for afternoon, and for morning, buenos dias. Also, puedes. Puedes is can you. So, and it is can you or can you, puedes, puedes? Can you do this? Puedes muevar, can you move? So there's a lot more words you need to learn, don't get me wrong, but puedes, can you, and puedo, can I. Puedo caminar, puedo manejar, can I walk, can I drive? You know, you need to learn some of these things. Donde you need to know, where, that's a big one. Donde está, donde es or donde está el baño, where's the bathroom? You're going to need to know that one. Donde está el cajero automática? There's another one that I just told you need to know. So there's a few things you need to ask for. Donde, can I, can you, and then have. You have, tienes. It's the verb tener, but tienes is do you have, and tengo is I have. So, or no tengo dinero, you know dinero. No tengo dinero, I don't have money. And then there's difference between card, tarjeta, or plata, which is cash, or efectivo, which is cash. So learn these. I mean, Duolingo is a good app. I used it quite a bit before I got here, but I was just basically brushing up, and that's what I'm doing now, picking up 2 or 3 new words a day, and that helps me overall. It helps you when you're really immersed into the culture, but when I go over to Sweet Georgia Brown and we all talk in English, you know, and trying to talk to the employees, other than that, I'm getting, you know, language-wise, I'm getting not much out of it. But, okay, hola, hello, ¿Cómo está? How are you? Bien, good. Usted, you. You can also, that's the formal. You can also tú, which is you. And then I went over buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Mi nombre es, my name is, or me llamo Rob. They call me Rob, or my name is Rob. I also recommend you learn your numbers, because if you're going to be dealing with money and you cannot understand, sometimes it's so, they say it so fast, even if you say despacio, slower, it is, 30,000,500, and you're like, okay, I just know it's under $20. I know it's under 20. I know it's under 10. 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, you need to learn these things. 50, you need to learn your numbers, especially when it comes to math and when it comes to money, their money. Because you're going to exchange your money. You're not going to use your US dollar here at all. I haven't used a dollar one time, period. They only take peso here. I haven't seen any place. I haven't gone around and asked everybody, but I'm pretty sure I'm only seeing peso. So, and you just go straight to the ATM and you get it out. So, find the banks with the best fees. A few of the other guys like Sly put up a list of some of the best banks to get in. Sly's like, you check him out. Again, como, how. ¿Cómo está? How are you? ¿Quién? Who? Who took your money? ¿Quién? ¿Por qué? Why? ¿Por qué? ¿En qué? What? Como is also used for what too, but and then one of the bigger words again, baño. You need to know baño. ¿Dónde está el baño? It's lejos, it's far, o cerca, it's near. There's a lot of words, I wouldn't be as comfortable as I am here speaking no Spanish, and I know a bunch of guys that don't speak Spanish. It's very, very minimal. But I wouldn't feel comfortable at all. I don't feel comfortable just talking to most people. That's why I stick to Uber drivers. Because nobody wants to. I don't know. I don't know if they want to spend the time talking or not. Because I don't go around asking, hey, can I talk? So I talk to the Uber drivers for the most part, unless I'm dealing with something. Anyway, that's it. That's what I wanted to go over. Those are my things I like about Medellin. After being here almost a month and a half. These are the things that I've gotten out of it, and some of the things I think you either need to know or may want to know before coming here. Cost of living is low. I highly recommend it. Take that chance. Don't listen to people telling you don't do it, or you can't do it, or it ain't gonna work, or what you gonna do for a living, or you don't make enough, or you're gonna get killed. It's dangerous. You're gonna get shot, or you're gonna get kidnapped. Look, I saw somebody get kidnapped the other day. Meanwhile, there was a mass murder down the street there. Somebody said a quote the other day, I remembered it. He said, I found the American dream, and it's in Medellin, Colombia. And for people of color to not have to be concerned with while here, that's the biggest plus. That's one of the biggest plus. Add that to the weather and the money and everything else. But I'm treated differently here, even though I am of color. And I love it. The police don't hassle us. It's a paradigm shift, I tell you. It is a paradigm shift. But don't let people stop you from doing what you want to do. My suggestions, what I recommend, and even if it's for a short time, come, be adventurous. Try to stay at least a month, I'd say, because then you get a chance to experience the culture. Yeah, I think me and another guy I think that works on computers are the only ones that have to work. And that is, you're here, it's great, but you got to work for 8 hours, so, but I love my work, so I'm good with it. But I don't sit around like them all day just chilling, and like some of the people do anyway. Some people can chill. I wish I had that life, and that's the goal. Give me 3 years, I want to be just like them. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6, 7, 10, I don't know. I just hope I'm healthy. Anyway, if you like this video, subscribe, comment, like it, and I'll post something again soon. I think next, again, I'm going to do some interviews with some of the people here so you can get an idea from them as opposed to from me. But thanks for watching. Headed to Medellin, Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below. Join me on social media. I am DC Born Rob Official on Instagram. I am DC Born Rob Official 1 on TikTok. I am DC Born Rob O on Twitter. Don't be like this guy right here.
You're just so stupid. I had to send you a video to let you know that you're so stupid.
That's right. Don't be like this guy right here. Join me on social media.